it's a riddle I couldn't solve. So anyway, that's been huge for my team. I have 2 now.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. Listen, we believe every agent should make a minimum of $100,000 per year, and we're on a mission to make this happen. We've already helped over 100 agents achieve this with our coaching. So if you want to fast track your business growth, get to your first $100,000 in GCI or add another $100,000 in GCI using social strategies, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com, or you can just click the link in the description below. Also, just make sure to follow us, hit that subscribe button, and if you get any value from this at all, please tell a friend and leave us a review. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
20 years ago, this is your final topic, which is a big one. This is something that really does resonate with a lot of producers, which is why we love this topic, which is, you know how to make deals happen, you know how to sell homes, you've got some marketing, stuff's kicking, you're making money, love it. And now it's about building a team, leveraging a team, which is going to give you the time back, right? Which is now what you've got, which is, for the most people, the ultimate goal is to build a real estate business, specifically business, not a real estate person, and then leverage yourself. So you've got the brand, you've got the awareness, you've got the leads, give them to someone else, take a cut off the top as the leader, as the broker, as the whatever. And then, you know, you get to spend, like you do, Vince, you know, you're 30 hours a week working now, but, you know, 1.6 million, right? Which isn't normal, but it's like 33 years in the making. So it makes sense, right? So let's talk about leveraging a team. Tell us what you mean.
Sure. So, yeah, so you just took me back to that 20 years. So my first effort to have a team, I had 4 assistants in 1 year, is how bad I was at this. But I did have a mini meltdown. I mean, I've struggled with some depression my whole life. And so I'm just pretty anxious, which leads to depression. And I had a full-on panic attack, to be honest, last year. Which, whatever, we could talk about that. I'm getting my mind better. I'm learning how to think better and think less. I used to think I'm not working, but I have my own business, so I should be thinking about my business all the time, even though I'm not there. That was a wrong belief that I had, that I've recently discovered with a therapist, that you don't have to think about your job all the time. I used to do that anyway. But 20 years ago, I had a mini meltdown because I was doing lots of business and all the transaction stuff was piling up and I hate the details. And I was in a Safeway parking lot. I remember I'm like, I either got to quit real estate or I got to hire somebody. I had to get to that breaking point. I wish I was smart enough to have gotten there several years before that without the breaking point, but I was freaking out, files everywhere and whatever. So I got to hire somebody. So the first thing I had to do was commit to it. Then I 0 for 4 on my first for assistants because I didn't know how to hire or train or manage, and I hated all that. I would, like what you just said, I just wanted to sell houses. I love doing deals and just want the rest of it to go away. Anyway, so then finally hired somebody who was a much better fit, and she was now just retired with me for 23 years.
Wow.
So just had to grow as a leader and a manager. Which, I just trial by fire and do a lot of podcasts. I love something you said earlier, don't be fake. I tried to be fake for a lot of times at listing appointments and as a boss. And now I'm like much more comfortable at listing appointments, I'm just trying to crack jokes and be real, a lot of it. You know, I mean, I feel like what you said is so true. People would rather follow somebody who's real than somebody who's right or fake. So, tips for having a team. Well, okay.
When you talk about growing a team, sorry, I was just going to say some of I know you said it was a bit of trial by fire. What were some of the tips for people listening? You know, a lot of people we speak with have trouble letting go. That's one of the big ones for producers who are producing well. It's like, no one can do this as good as I can. Or they've hired someone and they're making mistakes. For us, it's like, you've got to appreciate the fact that like they are going to make mistakes. There is a ramp up period. And a lot of the times you'll always feel like it's never as good. But in reality, if you're getting, 6 hours a day of your time back, it's worth it, even if it's a little percentage worse than you. A lot of the times they actually become way better than you because they become kind of a specialist in what that area, which you aren't. What are your tips that you could give people on hiring? Hiring, recruiting, and also like a training, onboarding of people, if you've got any strategies around that. I mean, I know you've got 5 people in your team. Obviously, that person that was with you over 20 years is pretty amazing. It's very rare that you actually ever hear of that, it's a long stint to work with somebody. What would you say to people listening about the recruiting and hiring and training process?
Yeah. So several years I came up with this phrase, which is hard for me to say at the beginning, but it's, I will let you decide. So I have a transaction coordinator who did a good job, and she's 10 years now with me, but was lots of, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And so I'll let you decide, encouraging them that, hey, you've been doing this long enough. You already know what I'm going to say. And if you mess up, honestly, up to $300 or $400, if you got to give away or do what, just trying to empower people and continue to encourage them that you're not going to get a baseball bat to your head if you mess up. And so I try to go out of my way in the office there. So we're all pretty close by. When someone messes up, I am super careful to be like, hey, don't worry about that. If you didn't do that and you weren't doing things like that, we would be screwed, and try to come up with examples of, so people aren't afraid to make a mistake. And I've had some people make some doozies. There was a $3,000 mistake that got made last week. And,
do you have an oh shit fund to fund those?
I do lots of deep breathing. and I've worked, my tip for me, I'm very careful. Some stuff happened yesterday that I was not good with, and I'm not saying anything today. So whatever, the 2 buyer agents, they did an appointment and one said the wrong thing about the other. And I'm like, I've covered this 6 times, and my phone was in my hand to like, and I'm like, no, tomorrow, we're going to talk about it tomorrow, and I'm going to let it come up in a more natural. I'm not going to chew anybody out. I've never chewed any, so don't chew people out. I don't know, and be real. Like a mistake got made recently, and my response was, I know exactly what happened there, and I'm glad you learned that. I learned it the exact same. In other words, I've made that exact mistake you made. Don't worry about it. I think about, I don't know if you've seen the movie We Were Soldiers, but I'm a kind of a war movie buff. It's Mel Gibson, Vietnam, and they're dropping napalm, and the guy blows it and kills a bunch of their own guys. And Mel Gibson's just like, you are keeping us alive. Keep doing that, even though the guy screwed up. And that's a gruesome example, but I'm into war movies. I try to say that, hey, you just made a mistake, but if you're not doing what you're doing, we aren't doing these numbers, man. So keep going. You're doing great. So I just try to be overly encouraging and publicly encouraging. And then when people screw up, I try to make a big public announcement that everybody knows somebody screwed up and that they're not going to get their head ripped off. I think that's been big. The other thing that I do, this has been huge for me, back to the habits a little bit. I've had 15 buyer agents or more over the years. And I get them, and they've been on a split of some kind, and all they want to do is fight about the split, in my opinion, with me. So I started about 4 years ago. I pay buyer agents a salary, and that's been huge for me. It's probably not for everybody, but for me, they get a salary, and therefore they're doing what I'm telling them to do. I can't get agents who have some experience to behave properly, AKA show up and work every day. I could never do it. It's a riddle I couldn't solve. So anyway, that's been huge for my team. I have 2 now. I just hired my son, actually. So the goal is kind of a succession plan, but they get paid a salary and they're going to do what I tell them to do.
Yeah, 100%. What, out of interest, if you don't mind, even a range, what do you pay a buyer's agent? Even a range?
Yeah.
You have to get a specific number, just even a range.
No, that's all right. 90,000 for my son, who's 2 months in the business. Which is a little more than he should get, but it's my son, and he told me he's going to do good. So But whatever. And then the others at 150. Now he's been with a eligible for a $20,000 bonus, and I'm trying.
Well, pull it back just so I make sure I heard this correctly, because Vince, I'm about to put in applications to start working for you over there, right? Did you just say a $200,000 bonus?
No.
No, 20,000.
Oh, fucking hell. I was like, geez, I'm halfway through writing my application. Vince's brokerage over here. How do I apply for a 200 grand bonus?
Yes. Not there. Not yet.
Honestly, applications, Vince, we're about to start flying through to your team.
Right.
People, if I hadn't clarified then, it was like, Vince, I'd like to apply for the job with the $200,000 bonus. Unless I was the only one that heard that.
While we're on the topic, because you had trouble getting agents to do what you required them to do, you decided to go down the salary route. So does that mean that you're responsible for all the incoming commissions and they're just get the salaries, whether they open the door, write a contract, or whatever their other tasks that you give them, they do?
Yeah. Great question. Yeah. So the way it works is in our area, you can, when they write a deal, so it's under their name / my name and then my lag number. So the team gets the credit for the transaction on Zillow and Realtor.com, et cetera. And all the commissions come to me. So all the commissions are, and then I just write a check every 2 weeks for their payroll.
Got it. Okay. That's very interesting, because most people, when they say, I have a buyer's agent, everybody has their own commission, and maybe they're on little salary for opening the doors or showing a house or whatever that may look like. I like the way you're approaching it, where it's like, hey, you're going to come under my umbrella. You don't have to worry about whether you're going to get a paycheck tomorrow or next week or the week after that. You're going to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. This is what you're going to get paid to do that. And in return, you also get to learn the business while you're under my umbrella, and you get to represent the team the right way. But that allows you to be in more than one place at once and leverage the team.
Yeah, it makes sense also why, Vince, you've got like no churn or very little, because a lot of agents, if you're getting paid 100K, 150, our goal, like I said, of what we do is every agent should make at least $100,000 a year. The average statistic is like 48,000. It's something crazy low. And it's like, why, a lot of them, it's like, you got a guaranteed 100, 150 here. Are they really going to go out on their own and start slinging? Unless they are super ambitious and they're like, I don't even think I can do better, which, to me, I'm like, tip my cap to them. Awesome. Go and do it. Like, that's great. But a lot of people love that. And it explains why, you've got solid people who stay with you and you incentivize them like that. Like, hell yeah. Like, why not? Vince, this has been amazing. You've dropped some serious value for everyone listening. I want to give you the floor. So if anyone wants to reach out to you to get in touch, whether it's phone, email, socials, whether you got anything else,
an application to be part of the team,
applications for team, you send that over to me straight away.
$100,000 bonus.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you could go on. People buying, selling homes, whatever it is. Where can people get in touch with you? How can they reach out if they want to? If you want them to?
Yeah, I would love it. Yeah, we're here in Seattle, so certainly open to referrals, and we'll make sure they get taken care of. So it's Vince at grantteamproperties.com. That's my email. 425-483-4200 is my number. Grantteamproperties.com is my website.
And follow Vince on Instagram. He's got 12 million followers.
Yes. On Instagram. I am on Facebook.
I love it. Vince, you've been an amazing guest. You've dropped some serious value here. Everyone, we really hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we have. Vince, thank you for being on our show, and we will see you all in the next one. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our courses and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.